live streaming and recording. So give me 2 seconds. And then I want to make sure I get everyone into the thing. In fact, Al, I'm going to turn over the hosting capability. Ooh, I bet I can. Can I now? Live streaming and recording. So oh boy, hold on 1 second. That moment that you hear your own voice and you know that's what you sound like, but oof, it's tough to listen to. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. I have a slide deck that links to a slide deck because I have no tenacity and I didn't get my new slide deck finished, but I do have a slightly new slide deck for us this morning, and we're actually going to start with a quiz. So let me pull that up. Sorry, I'm terrible at technology. But I'm going to teach you about technology today. Let's see. All right, let's see if everybody can see my screen. Letting people in. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
All right, and let me go ahead and, does that work, Al?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so gonna run over a couple of systems that we use in our business. So I wanted to start out just telling you a little bit about this moment that I had while I knew there's some people would be hopping on. I got invited to go into a very big room in San Diego. Tina invited us. Ashley went too. I don't think we were supposed to go. We didn't qualify at the time. Thankfully now I'm more than qualified, but about 2.5 years ago when I was invited to go to this room, I was nowhere close to qualifying. I think it was like a 50 million a year production level. And, I was just a baby agent before I got in that room. There's my little baby. And as I got in the room, I realized like so many things in my business was going to have to change. And I hope that today is, if you're on, if this is one of those moments where your business needs a pivot, that I can give you at least the roadmap to do it. You don't have to mimic every single thing that I do, but to be able to kind of look at what we're using and realize, oh my gosh, my business is lacking some of these systems, because that's what happened to me. I was doing 30, 40 deals a year. I was doing them based just so like sphere of influence. That was really it. I wasn't converting a lot of, outside leads. It was all people that I knew. And my business was very just like personality based. And it was really great to hear Jeff Glover talking about this yesterday. I'm a high I on the DISC scale. So it makes sense that I was able to build a fast, kind of productive business out of my own sphere, personality based selling, because I do have that great personality for sales. But after 2-3 years of doing this and just feeling like I was 24/7 drained, and every single thing I had to go into these people that I was working with, at that level, there was nowhere really to go. And I kept thinking, well, what's going to come next? Because I'm completely tapped out of my energies, of my desire to go sell real estate. And I'd only been in this thing a couple years. And I just was thinking there's something missing here, because I'm looking at some of these people. In our market, Jim Allen was kind of that one. I started at Coldwell Banker. So in my mind, I was like, how does Jim Allen sell $1 billion in real estate? I don't know how this could be possible. I'm dying after, 30 home sales. And I will tell you that the catalyst for the growth from that baby agent that I was just big rooms that I got into. So this is not by any stretch of the imagination a big room, but there's some very big thinkers on this call. And so I hope that you'll recognize that, number one, to make this transformation, you've got to go position yourself. If you're EXP or not, we can take you as a guest. An EXP con event, a fast forward movement mastermind that we were just talking about. Those are the rooms that allowed me to really go through this growth. And I can tell you that I'm going to give you this quiz, and we're going to do it together here in a second. My numbers would have been incredibly low prior to getting into the rooms, and now they are incredibly high, because these rooms taught me that it didn't have to be me. And if you're on this call and you're tired because you feel like you're the gasoline to your business every single day, and you're starting to see the threads wear off, I'm telling you that this is the stuff that you need to double down on and focus on. It's going to feel a little scary, because you're going to feel a little bit like you're taking the gas off of some of that sales stuff in order to be able to build some of this back end stuff we're going to show you today. But if you're at that point, please, like, my cell phone number is 910-985-0441. Call me today. I want to talk you through this, because this was a place for me where I really had to get some growth, or I was going to be tapped out and on to the next thing. I would have been part of that 85% rate of people that don't make it, even though I had a great business built early on. So let's go through. I want to go through and do a quiz together. So grab a piece of paper, grab your calculator, whatever you need, and let's start actually doing a little bit of math here. So how do you track new leads and follow-up actions? So if you're one of those that has a CRM system, you track everything, give yourself 3 points. If you are the type that's, writing things into a spreadsheet or onto a calendar, so maybe you don't have a centralized nervous system, but you have some systems, give yourself 2 points. If you're the agent that's writing things on sticky notes and, it's just your brain that's keeping this wagon together, give yourself 1 point. All right, everybody got your point there? 3, 2, or 1? All right. How consistent is your communication with your clients throughout the buying and selling process? So if you have templates created and they're all scheduled and for every stage of the process that X, Y, and Z are going out, give yourself 3 points. If you're like most real estate agents, I think you'll agree here, I communicate regularly, but it's more personalized and varies with each client. Give yourself 2 points. And if you are actually probably like the majority of real estate agents, I communicate as needed with no set pattern. Give yourself 1 point. So this is communication with clients in the contract period. Do you have standardized checklists or workflows for each transaction? Do you follow the same steps for every transaction? And your team, your assistants, everyone knows the process and those major elements of your process. Give yourself 3 points. Again, I think this is where most agents fall, is this 2-pointer. I have a general idea of the steps, but I adjust them based on situation. I walk through each transaction individually, adapting as I go. 1 point. And again, that baby agent, like I'm hearing all the things that I used to do. And I thought I did it so well because I had a Centurion trophy on my desk. How do you manage your time and tasks every day? I use a task management software that prioritizes tasks and tracks deadlines. 3 points. My T's in the room. You guys probably are like, yeah, duh, how the rest of you survive. And then I use a to-do list or a calendar to manage my time. 2 points. I handle things as they come up without a specific system. 1 point. I know at least one person on this call that will have to select 1 point there. How scalable do you think your current business operations are? So guys, even if you're a solo agent with really no anticipation of building a team, as you grow and bringing people into your process, that was one of the scariest things for me, was figuring out how could I bring someone into my process. So do you feel like your current business operations are very scalable? You can add team members, take on more clients, and not much changes, right? Somewhat scalable. I'd have to make some adjustments to handle more volume, 2 points, or not scalable. I would need to overhaul how I work to handle more clients. And that was me, right? How do I handle more people? How am I going to grow this business when I don't have any more time or ability? What role does technology play in your daily workflow? I use tech for almost everything: CRM, communication, marketing, transaction management. I use technology for some things, but still rely on manual processes for others. Give yourself a 2. Or I rarely use technology and handle most tasks manually. 1. And there's some of you that wear that with a badge of honor, but I'm telling you, things are changing really fast. And you're going to get outpaced really quickly if you don't start adapting into what's out there for you. This is a tough one. How consistent is the customer experience you provide? You feel like every client has the same smooth, high quality experience with very little variation, right? Most clients have a good experience, but there's some variation, or the customer experience varies widely based on the client and their circumstances. And again, I think as baby real estate agents, we feel like that's normal. Everything's different in real estate. I used to say that. I used to say, oh my gosh, you can't build these checklists and you can't systematize this stuff because every deal is so different. Start doing enough of these things and you'll realize some of the problems show up are new, but for the most part, you can run them the same way. How do you measure client satisfaction and success? Do you have a formal process for gathering feedback through surveys or reviews at the end of every transaction? Leanna Ashley's on this call. She does an amazing job with reviews. I'm constantly like, oh, how did you get so many? This is a place where our business really struggles. It's one of our big rocks that we have set up for 2025 because we have got to buckle down on this. I ask clients for feedback informally or when I remember. That'd be a 2-pointer. And I don't have a process for collecting client feedback consistently. 1 point. How efficient is communication within your team? So if you're a solo agent, just give yourself 3 points here because you don't want to deduct. But most of the time, solo agents, you may have a TC, or maybe even just communicating with your back end, right? Your brokerage or whoever it is that's monitoring your files. How structured, right, are your collaboration tools to keep everyone informed and in line? I was talking to an agent the other day that was talking about group text messages, and I died a little bit inside because I thought, oh my gosh, a big successful team, and they're running on a text, message thread. What could we do if we put something like Slack or Microsoft Teams in place there? We communicate regularly, but it's mostly through emails or phone calls without a formal system. So that's good. Your communication lines are open. Or is your communication more inconsistent, right? Do team members often rely on ad hoc messages or calls? This is a really big one. How do you track your sales numbers and profitability? This is going to be my second year of being able to tell you what we did in production. I'll never forget, we were doing for Freedom back in the day, it was Freedom Builders OG, before we made the rebrand to Access. We were having our gala, and someone from Tina's team was trying to verify our numbers with us to see what we had sold. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had two team members. We had done probably 30 some million in production 2 years ago. And I had no clue. Like, I had to go in the MLS and start like pulling numbers. I'll never forget, I went down to Beaufort for New Year's that start of 23, and Allison was like, you have to get CTE, and we're going to show that to you today. And we just never looked back. And I laugh because every time I get in there, I think, oh my gosh, there was a day that my business did not have this. And it's hilarious to me. But do you use software to track sales, profitability, to look at data, team leaders to know how much your team is doing, to see how they're measuring against their goals? Do you track your sales but not profitability, right? And do you not consistently track sales or profitability, which I'm telling you was me 2 years ago. So to be where we are today is, if I can turn this around, my friends, you can turn it around. So I don't know, I'm pull up the chat. If anyone's brave enough to kind of share what those scores looked like, I'd just be curious to know. You don't have to if you're struggling. I'm telling you, I'm going to teach this today, and I don't have all of them. I would not have had threes across the board. There are still places that we struggle. So I'm just curious if anyone wants to share some of their scores on their test. Oh, Tina, if Tina calls a 22 and needs improvement, I feel like this is a very safe space. So one of our top 10 teams in EXP across the country, one of the top teams in the entire country across brokerages, is showing a 22. We would have definitely been somewhere, I think, in that mid-20s range as well. All right, so let's get into a couple things. And I wanted to make sure that I made this as universal as humanly possible. So I wanted to start with something that I feel like we all want to talk about, and those are leads. Everyone feels the pressure to have that constant lead flow into their business. So I wanted to show you a few things that we do. I call them our lead hacks, to ensure that we're able to capitalize on every single lead source, every single process that we spend money on or effort on or time on, to ensure that we can get the most out of this. So I want to show you first, how many of you have a great system for capturing open houses? Put in the chat box or shout out. Who's like, oh man, I'm really good at capturing open house contacts. I feel like most of us don't. The best example I can give of an open house, and we had Jeff Anderson on a few weeks ago to talk about this, is, you do all this work all week, you get your signs up, you get your, Facebook event made, you advertise, you do all the things, and then someone walks in the house, right? And you then collect their information, and then on Monday, you start trying to make contact with them again. It's such a crazy thing to me. It was always the equivalent of, I'm going to go offshore fishing on Saturday, Sunday, right? I'm going to spend all the money. I'm going to gas up the boat. I'm going to put all of the gear in the boat, rig up all my baits, do all that work. And then a fish is going to get on my line, and I'm going to throw the rod in the ocean and come back Monday and try to find it. And that is the best example I can give of how most of us actually kind of deal with open house captures on leads, because we're there with consumers that are showing some kind of interest, right, in real estate. And so our team has created individual sign-ins for our agents to be able to use, and it goes to a system called Typeform. And I want to show you, Typeform looks so good. I got this from Phil Stringer. Most everything you're going to see on here, I've stolen from someone who's shown me a great system or a great process. But Typeform has a really nice look to the consumer because of the way that it kind of flows through the questions. To me, it's kind of fun to fill them out because I'm like, ooh, what's coming next, right? And our agents are able to use this, and once they go in and register, our agents are then able to deliver them to their landing page, right? So we've created this nice landing page. Think of it almost like a digital business card that links out to their Real Scout accounts, that links out to their fellow account, places where people could check their home valuation. And it gives them the ability to kind of offer this as a value add to consumers that are coming into their open house. Now, I'm going to tell you, you don't sit behind this QR code, right, with your cute little face on it and wait for someone to fill this out. Your goal is always going to be to get in there and to try to get a text thread going right away. But we all know we have those consumers that come through, and one thing, they may not want you to know that they've registered, right? They may not want you to know that they've signed up. And so this is a really good way to capture those weirdos. But the second part here is, yes, get the text thread going, but absolutely try to encourage them to do this, because here's the reality. You get that text thread going, you still have one extra step. You still have to go get them into your database at some point. And so this is a really nice way to make sure that they get right into your database. And what you're watching is the fact that this lead has now come into our database. They're now going automatically onto this beautiful drip campaign that we have built for consumers that we believe are in this marketing qualified stage. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in a minute, but it really goes over, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get everyone muted, goes over the touch points that they're gonna have for 180 some days. So even if I strike up a great conversation with someone in an open, I'm still gonna want to be like, hey, you know what? I really want you to have access to this great landing page. I have tons of information on it. I've got some reviews and things you can check out. Why don't you go ahead and scan this QR code, and then, right, let's also get you entered to win something. Yeah. And ask me how often we actually pull a winner from that list. I'm a liar, pants on fire. It's very, very, very infrequently, if ever at all. And I'm not systematized in that way, but it's something that we're hoping that we'll get off the ground and get consistent. So that's one of our best examples of using technology to help you do something that you're already doing, which is trying to capture those leads through your open house. This is a sign call. Our team rocks sign calls. It's why we love to put signs in the ground. That was my father-in-law. He was calling my reception service. I use a reception service called Lex. I can't go deep on all these things, but just know it's a live answering service. They qualify this lead. They get his phone number. They confirm his email address. They get the address that he was interested in, right? And they push it over to me. But what they also do, which is amazing, is they put it in my follow-up boss, my CRM, for me right away. So I can be on an appointment. I could have missed that call, and that person is already in our database and has gotten a text from us and saying, hey, we know you left a message. We're working diligently to return your call. In the meantime, here you go. They're also getting a video from us right off the bat that's introducing who we are. So all of this has happened before I've even probably noticed that missed call has gone through. And it's one of the reasons I think that we do such a great job capturing sign calls. It is in our top 8 business opportunities. In fact, I mentioned my win at the beginning of the week. Just yesterday, we put a $1.4 million house in 12 Oaks on the market. Guys, it came from a sign call. It came from a sign call on one of our listings. So anyways, just wanted to show you that there's really, really smart ways to capture these things. If you're the agent that's your voicemail's full half the time, you're adding it onto a sticky note and shoving it up on your car windshield, hoping that you remember later in the week that you need to go back and call that person. There are way smarter ways, and this can be very, very affordable depending on your call volume. You can purchase almost by the minute. And I know some agents that run this at maybe $50 a month. So to have live answering service for $50-$60 a month, it's probably the best money you'll spend. I have a set plan at 300 and some, but that's running my entire team. Yeah. Any questions on sign calls or on open house registrations? Because
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
This is Amanda.
Oh, hey, girl.
Hi, good morning. So for clarity, do you use different numbers on your signs versus your follow-up boss number or your personal cell phone or business number?
Yep. We have dedicated numbers. So we have a builder that we represent. And so we have a specific number that we generated through Follow Up Boss that we know those are tied to their builds. And then I still just put my personal cell phone number on my on my signs. And most of our agents use a mixture of their follow-up boss numbers or their personal numbers. But for me personally, I still just have my personal cell phone on there because I know the answering service is going to provide the linkage between the two.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
And I think taking 2 seconds to talk about the benefits of not putting your personal cell phone number on the sign, because I was the person that always had the personal number on the sign. The problem is that when you're driving, you don't have an answering service and it's not going to follow up boss, you're literally doing this and you're sticky noting, right? Or you're having to go back through and look at your cell phone. You're like, oh, I think that phone call came in at 11:11. Because I looked at whatever, right? And so then you have to remind yourself, and you have to remember. And if you were to change that one thing and you put your follow-up boss number on there, the system is logging it for you. There's no going back and looking at the sticky and thinking about the time. And so it's just that one little hack of putting something else there. So Anna puts her personal number there because it will always go to her call center if she misses that call. So there's just taking that one step out. So just think about that as you like make that decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so important to have something like that in place, because I can't tell how many times I call an agent and actually less and less now, but voicemail is just full, right? Can't leave a voicemail. I called a lender back the other day and they didn't even have voicemail set up. And I thought, what kind of professional world are we living in, right? That you don't even have a service in order to capture information. I want to spend a little bit of time here because whether you're on a team, and I think I saw Eli pop on, and I know we've had some long conversations about building a sales funnel language. He came out of corporate America, which uses a little bit more of this. As real estate agents, I think we're pretty bad at really doing this. How many of you are in a CRM on here? Just think about that for a second. And how many of you are very confused by the stage language, right, in your CRM? So I'm going to throw out some words that should sound familiar. Hot, nurture, cold, 2-week follow-up, lukewarm. Like there's all these arbitrary words that your CRMs are providing you off the bat as the baseline. And I'm going to tell you this, particularly those of you that are managing a database with multiple agents that are trying to service those leads. It is very confusing to know what is what. And probably about 1.5 years ago, I found the need to really try to figure out how on earth do we systematize these leads so that we understand what we actually have? Because I don't know about you, but lukewarm, hot, super hot, boiling hot, lead, cold is very confusing to me, because what does that actually mean? Because my cold might be very different from a cold for a client or for an agent that doesn't have as much in the pipeline, right? So we had to figure out a way to make some universal sales funnel language in our team. And I want to share this with you. I think this is really, really going to be a game changer. So if you can focus in on nothing else, I would try to focus on this today. At the very, very top of the funnel, we have something called a subscriber. This is the person that has clicked on something online, right? Those used to come in as like hot lead, right? They clicked on something. Well, gosh, they could have clicked on a secondary offer somewhere, right? Like just get a free valuation on your home that we're running an ad on Facebook somewhere. They could have clicked on a Facebook ad that we were running on an open house that the house sold, last weekend in multiple offers. So the clicks were coming from all different places. So we decided that instead of using, and we may change this actual verbiage to opportunity instead of subscriber. I think I got that from Jeff in our sales training the last few weeks. But subscriber to us is just someone who is elected to join our database. They've elected to join our database. That's it. We don't know anything about them. We don't understand their motivation. We've not been able to potentially make contact. And so and I can't go into the timing of all the drip campaigns and the amount of touches, know that we hit these people for about 21 days over and over again, trying to get those 8 contact points through that we know that they've seen. But this is the top of our funnel. And so our agents know when they've got someone in subscriber mode, the gist of what we understand is they have gone online and they have elected to join our database in some capacity. All right. So most of our agents are not looking at the subscriber and saying, oh, I got a hot pipeline. I got someone right at the bottom of the funnel. They understand a lot of times these are coming, going to take some steps to get down this funnel. marketing qualified, and you don't have to use this language, but you need to build something that looks like this, that you can understand, and get rid of all those excess, stock words that came with your CRM. Marketing qualified for us is someone that we know has identified genuine curiosity in real estate. So when I said earlier that our open house, leads come in as marketing qualified, it's because we do feel like you took the day or took the afternoon to go walk in the house. Even if you're just a nosy neighbor, we can say very confidently there's a little bit of curiosity there, right? Some of our internet leads that are coming in and they're using the mortgage calculator, there's certain things that will trigger where we can say, oh my gosh, look at that. There's some curiosity there. We've picked up the phone and they said, yes, I'm thinking about moving from Florida. I've got to get my dad settled, but I'm really not sure what that looks like. Once we make that call on that subscriber, we can move them down the funnel and say, well, there's some genuine curiosity in real estate here. So we're going to tag these people in as marketing qualified. This is the person in your database as a Sphere agent who calls and says, yeah, I'm just curious what my home might be worth. We're thinking maybe there's a potential that we would move, right? But I'm just not really sure exactly what our timeline looks like. And this allows you to kind of separate out those opportunities with people that have some kind of genuine curiosity in real estate. So that's how we define that marketing qualified stage. From there, we move into a place where we have belly to belly activities, right? In some capacity. So there has been an appointment set. There has been a consultation held, whether it's on Zoom or in person. And so the sales qualified part of our business comes down the funnel to people that we know we're actually in the middle of a sales transaction with. Now, we may not have shown a house yet, so we may not have agency signed. And this funnel getting a little bit of rework since the NAR settlement, because we used to have a lot of buyers that lived in the pipeline where we didn't sign agency with them and we just knew that they were our client. And so obviously the NAR settlement has changed that, because we do have paperwork going out sooner than we used to. But that sales qualified for you guys really is going to be those people that you have belly to belly activities with. And you cannot move them from marketing qualified into that sales qualified until that consultation has occurred, that showing has occurred, that walkthrough at their house has occurred, until there has been a face-to-face activity, even though it could be, a technology piece and you're on Zoom. And this really helps you guys, because sometimes we'll think our pipeline is so robust. We'll be like, oh, I have so many leads. I have so many people. And this is one of the great ways that we work with our agents on our team to make sure that you really have a clear vision of like, what do you actually have? Because subscribers, we say 12 to 18 months out, marketing qualified, 6 to 9 months out a lot of times, and sales qualified, maybe 1 to 6 months. It just depends on, what their motivation looks like. But how many of you could really go through your database and say you understand where that database is actually at? We still use things like sphere of influence, right? So not everybody in our database is in the sales process. We have plenty of people in our database. They're farm additions. We've added their neighborhoods in as we've circle prospected. And those people don't fall into this funnel until they start by maybe clicking on an email that was sent to them and opting in to get their home value every month. And then we get to start moving them down our sales funnel. So not every single lead or every single person, in our database is qualified by this, because we do have plenty of Sphere and vendors and other people in our database that we're using to grow our business alongside of. But this is when we have someone that is subscribing in, they're wanting their home valuation, something like that. They're going to go through the sales funnel language. And if you don't have something systematized and you're just using what your CRM gave you, I would challenge you to spend a little bit of time here and try to work out some language so that you can be confident that you know where all of those leads are in your Follow Boss or in your CRM. Ours is great. We've got smart lists. So every single morning I can go in and I can look at the 4,000 subscribers in our database. They only stay there for 21 days. If we can't move them down, they move into a nurture pond. But I can look at the 4,000 subscribers that we have in our database every single morning and make sure that they are getting the touches that they need. I can then move over to those marketing qualifieds. And then guys, on days that I'm really busy, I know, and I need to go in and stimulate that database, I know where to go. I go to the sales qualifieds. I'm not going to spend all this time on subscribers. If I've got limited time, I want to go right into those people that are a little bit lower funnel. I know there will be some questions here. I hope there will be. So let me answer anything you guys might have here. No questions here. Okay, no questions. I'll keep moving then.
You did great.
Thanks, Eli. I was going to ask if that made sense because I know we talked about this and you've kind of been working on it. Have you adapted? Have you been using it, Eli?
Yes, not to the degree that you do. So there's always room for improvement.
Well, ours, listen, if you have Follow Up Boss, which a lot of us are on, the automatic the automatic status that they get is lead. And so every morning I have to go onto a smart list and I have to reassign everything that's assigned comes in as a lead because that like we have agents that just like they just don't think they add the contact in and they never think about it. So we're still maintaining it every day too.
Well, my feedback, side note, follow-up boss was just like, hey, whenever we get someone and we do like click on their number to call them or send email or something like that, I wish it would automatically change the stage.
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
anyway, my feedback for them. So,
well, let's go and see what we can do. One of my questions in our quiz was your schedule. So I feel like this is another place that's such a hot topic for agents. I go back to that baby agent that I was, and I just ran around all day and I would miss appointments and I had no clue where I was supposed to be. And I was 15 minutes late here and I didn't have all of my ducks in a row for this appointment. And so I want to show you one of my best scheduling hacks. And again, if you don't take anything else out of this, this is a really, really big one. This came from that room when I told you I had my metamorphosis, if you will, into a more distinguished agent. I got on the plane. I was sitting next to Ashley Bomarito coming back from San Diego, and I downloaded Calendly, and my life got infinitely better. So Calendly is a Google product. And I have the paid version, and I would recommend to invest in your business and get the paid version. You can either pay taxes on it or you can keep it for yourself and make your business better. So I would spend the money. I would get the more, month, like the yearly subscription into Calendly, but look at all of the different types of appointments that I have set up. So literally, from running my business, right? I've got, for vendors that want to speak at our team meetings, team leaders, how many times do you have this where it's like, I want to come by your team meeting. When can I come? And you really do want to get them in because you want the breakfast for your people and you want to meet this vendor and hear what they have to say and try to build a business together. So just being able to say, here's a click of a button, go ahead and speak at our team meeting. We have, if agents are interested in looking at our platform and wanting to know a little bit more about what we do here at EXP, we're able to send them a link. I got this from Tina just to say, hey, just hop on my calendar. How many of you feel like over the course of time you miss appointments because you just you don't want to push on the person to say, hey, what time works for you? Oh, that didn't work for me. And you go back 2 or 3 times and you're like, well, we'll just figure it out. This takes this out of your business. We have, you can see office exclusive showing request for those buyers that we have under agency that we've shared an office exclusive with. Like, let's stop playing the game of trying to figure out when something going to work for someone. Send me over a request, right? And that way it's systematized. I don't have to wait to respond to you. An equity evaluation, that's a secondary offer that we put onto our website, things like that for people that maybe don't want to schedule a listing appointment, but they're interested in knowing what their home is worth. Equity vouchers. So they're very, very specific, right? It's not just meet with me. They're literally labeled. So this is 6 of mine, and here's 5 more. An easy, let's get coffee. That should be a go-to for anyone, just an opportunity to go fellowship, to get together. A coaching session for agents on my team or my downline or outside of my org that needs some time to talk about things going on in their business. We use our showing button all the time. Do I know for sure that if it's for a buyer that I can get the seller to agree on that time? No, but I'm getting the buyer to commit that they want to go see a showing. Guys, these people are on Zillow. They're on all these third-party sites, clicking away. They love that they can on-demand schedule. Give them that opportunity to interact with your business the same way. And then obviously the listing appointment and the buyer consultation. So I'll give you a good example of the buyer consultation. I was in a message on Facebook with an old friend of mine who just took a position up here in Raleigh. He was looking for a mutual friend's phone number from back in the day. And he's like, yeah, I'm actually relocating up. How's the market up there? We're thinking maybe we want to be towards Andrew, but like really early in the process. And I said, look, I was like, here's my calendar. I was like, get with your wife, find a time that works for you guys. Let's hop on Zoom. And just to make it easy for you guys, like just pick a time that works for you. And I'm able to send over that calendar link. Number 1, I look very professional. But number 2, the stress of me having to be like, I got to follow up, make sure that I get that nailed down. It's minimized a little bit because I have put that in their hand, right? Their ability to click on that. And so I want to show you one of the ways, because a lot of you will say, oh, well, I don't want to have to go into Calendly and save this link. A lot of you will, let me show you how Calendly works real quick. So this is what shows up to the consumer, right? So they can go to today and they can say, what does Anna have available? Oh, she's got 3:30 and 4 o'clock available today. 3:30 works for my spouse, my partner, sounds great. And then this does some of the job of pre-qualifying for you. So if it's on the fly, it's really fast. Maybe you're not going to have a chance to get some of those pre-qualifying calls in, which I don't suggest skipping, but at least it gives you a baseline. It's going to ask a couple of questions to them, things to prepare for. And people are very specific when they're filling this out. It asks, what do you think that the home is currently worth? What's that ideal timeline to move? And as you'll see, I missed it because I have no tenacity. I flew right past that option above of Google Meet or somewhere else, right? So I kept hitting schedule event and it wouldn't let me schedule. And I was like, why isn't it working? Is my schedule blocked? Sure enough, I needed to go up there and let them know that we were going to meet at my house versus Google, which is great. So this is what it looks like to the consumer, which I think is fantastic. Sends a calendar invite to my calendar right away. So my calendar gets blocked, reserved, no issues. And also sends one to their email as well. So like, look at the steps we've taken out just by using this versus trying to say, even if someone says, I want you to come to my house, excuse me, at 4 o'clock tomorrow, I still send them this. I say, great, absolutely. Go ahead and fill this out for 4 o'clock tomorrow. That way my calendar will be blocked and I'll see you then. And it's just life-changing stuff here. One of the things that most of us do is we'll struggle to get that link out because we don't have it handy or we don't want to have to toggle back or forth. So I want to show you this app that really, really does streamline this. It's called Boards. I think you can get the free version and you can use it this capacity. But what you're seeing here is me texting Allison this morning. And if you're noticing, I'm not having to leave my messaging app. I just click my different keyboards down here. And this text message that I already have pre-written is saved on there, just like a Google Drive function. I'm able to hit send, and then I'm able to send that Calendly link right there within the app that I'm using. It would show up. It would show up in my Instagram. It show up in my Facebook. It shows up in my messaging, in my email. Wherever I need that link, it follows me around on my phone through an app called Boards. And so that's one of our other big time-saving hacks that we use a lot. Any questions on Calendly? Anyone gonna go get Calendly today that doesn't have it already?
This is
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
This stuff is life changing. Like, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I just lived in fear, right? As that personable agent that I was going to drop the ball and miss an appointment because I had it on this calendar and I jotted it down on this sticky note over here. It was sitting on my desk and I wake up, or every night before I go to bed, I look at my calendar and I preview the day and I have a perfect roadmap of where I'm going. And I'm telling you, I have no tenacity in my life. This is not stuff that brings me joy. These are not things that I thought I would be attracted to, but had the freedom that it's brought and the lack of stress that it's brought has allowed me to pour back into my family, my clients, all the things Tina just said. It really is. It's a life-changing tool for your business, and you're not too small. Even if you're a new agent and you're like, I don't have this much business, there's no way I would forget a listing appointment. Number one, it elevates the client experience, but number two, it sets you up to be able to grow with it. So I would tell you, you're never too early to get on this. Yep, I'm a new agent. Well, download this and start using it today because you're going to need it as your business grows. I wanted to take you over. I might have to do this. I know I don't want to run too far into time, but I did want to show you one other thing. Let me see if I can figure out how to get there. I might just have to toggle over. Are y'all still following me around? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to show you one or two more quick things, and then I'm going to rock and roll out of here. I know a few of us are in our CRM follow-up boss. And so, and Tina, I know you're in there for your team. Our team's in there. It doesn't have to be follow-up boss specific, but I want to show you a little bit about how we've streamlined some of our operations, because that was one of the questions in the quiz. So when we have an agent who identifies a new listing, they can go and use, and most CRMs are going to have this capability, and there's tons of software that does this, but find something that will track your deals. And ours is tied within Follow Up Boss. I want to show you this. So as Katie, puts in her new listing at 11:09 Wilburn Road, which is my house. I hope it brings that much. That would be great. And she adds her client in here and she creates this deal for herself and puts it in here. You know, that's great. It's helping her track and her sellers right now, me, as the owner of 1109 Wilburn Road, I'm already starting to get some communication from her as a pipeline seller because each of those phases triggers a drip campaign. But what's really amazing about this is that it's also going to go in and actually create a Slack channel for us. Team leaders that are on here, I want to be able to make sure you see this. We use Slack for absolutely everything. Each deal that we have has its own Slack channel where our transaction coordinator, director of ops, and agents that are involved are able to see. But their checklists are showing up in Follow Up Boss for the agents, right? Remember, one of the questions in my quiz was, do you have a checklist in order to know what you need to do? So our checklists all live within Follow Up Boss where the agents can see it. But at the same time, through backend Zapier, we're able to literally create a Zap that when that new listing is identified, our operations department gets a ping. So as soon as an agent says, hey, I have this new listing coming, I'm very excited about it. It's not just going out into the universe, it's systematized. And so this channel gets created automatically. All this infrastructure occurs, right, just with one click of a button. And I think, again, this is going to be advanced for some of you, but knowing that these things are possible is always the beginning for me. I think it's always really, really important to understand that your tech that you're on, even if you're in a CRM as a solo agent all by yourself, does way more than you know that it does. And a lot of these systems talk to each other very naturally, very easily, without a lot of back-end manipulation. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that one thing that your agents or as part of your checklist can trigger 3 or 4 other things. You just you have to know the value of going in to do that. And I want to show you one last tool, and then I'm going to wrap up and take some questions. But I want to show you one thing that we use, and we use it for sellers. We use it for a lot of people in our database, but we have a platform called Cognito Forms. So I told about Typeforms. Typeforms is really pretty. For more technical, think a Google form replacement. Typeforms is great. So this is a place where agents on our team can go in and request a social media post. Solo agents, think about this is a place where a buyer or a seller could go in and give you their seller questionnaire, some kind of form where you're not really needing to capture attention. You're trying to really just go through the process of grabbing information. This goes over to a Trello board so that Megan Wilkie on our team, who does our social media, can see what graphics does she need to make. And from there, our agents are able to literally just press a button to request a certain social media post. Megan's able to go in there and see it and then design it, move it around, show that it's been completed. And this is all happening automatically between Cognito Forms and Trello, which is another great organization tool. So, I mean, there's just lots and lots and lots of things out there. But I want to leave you kind of with this. If you understand the natural advantages that having systems like this in your business will give you, you absolutely will prioritize the build of these. So it's very hard sometimes for us as agents to say, oh, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to build a drip campaign for buyers under contract. That sounds like terrible work. It seems like there's a better, higher dollar. When you realize how many times that can be used over the course of your business and how many hours it saves you having to handle that client one by one and giving them a baseline of service, you're absolutely going to prioritize it. And once you do prioritize that, once you lean into it, I mean, honestly, your business is going to continue to look for ways to simplify and streamline. And it really is, I think, a mindset shift here of recognizing that, like, I don't have to do this all by myself. There are so many systems, processes, and things that I can put into place that can take a very, very heavy load off of me. And then what happens is your service gets higher. Your service gets better because now I can really lean in and empathize with my seller who is sitting at 45 days on market and we don't have an offer. I can really sit there and talk to that buyer who can't find the right house because I'm not having to answer the question of what's due diligence again for the 14th time because they have a video that's been sent out to them that they can go back and reference anytime that creeping question shows up at 11 o'clock at night. and I'm sleeping soundly in my bed. So I hope that quiz was helpful to you. This recording will be out there. Maybe Alice and I will put this quiz into cognito forms. Maybe 6 months from now, take it again. Maybe 6 days from now, take it again. What are some small action steps that you can take today to fix a few of these things? Same thing Kyle Whistle said at the same conference, that I feel like I just turned into an adult on. Thank you, Tina. I'll forever be grateful for the invite to that. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you're not going to figure this all out today, but what is an actionable item that you can take away today that you can simplify? I would tell you the easy out is go get Calendly set up. The challenging out is go set up a sales funnel. I think those are 2 huge things that if you could take away today, your business would look significantly different 90 days down the road. And that's all I have today for you, my friends.
Thank you, Anna. That was amazing.
Thank you. My E says thank you for that.
You were so great and so beautiful and so special and so needed. So does anybody have any questions for Anna while we've got her?
Yes, come to my office and set it all up.
I know. I need to find a fee for that.
I think
Listen,
that's been on your to-do list for a while.
That's been on my to-do list for a very long time because I have a lot of, especially team leaders that want some of these things set up, and
We'll knock that out in a hotel bed in Miami, just like
perfect.
20 minutes. I think one of the questions I would like to ask, especially as a team leader, is like, what is the one thing that is stopping you from implementing? Like you all had an aha moment today. Somebody had in different sections of this an aha moment, like, oh, I really want to do that. My question is like, what's the one thing stopping you from just taking action to do it and to implement it?
I think I say this in a good way, like it's a lot of information, right? And so it's like analysis paralysis. So I think to your point and how you ended the call, Anna, it's like one bite at a time. So take away that one little thing that you can just do it. Like take the next 15 minutes after this call, don't put it off till this afternoon, and just do it in this next 15 minutes. Go download Calendly, download Wordboard or boards or whatever it is,
So my challenge with that, Eli, is for everybody to just, you don't know what he wants to talk and put cameras on and all that good stuff. So if everybody can just type in the chat box, the one thing that they are going to implement today. Great. Amanda says boards. Ansley says Calendly. All right, we've got a lot of Calendlys. Perfect. Okay, so what I am going to challenge everyone with is we are going to keep Zoom on for 5 more minutes, and we're just going to be quiet, and we are going to literally use this as the time for you to download that one app, to implement that one thing. And my hope is that you all put it in the board and say done as like that check box so that you can feel like you did it, right? Calendly is one of those things that you can go online, you can get it all set up, and then you actually have to implement it. And so step 1 is just getting that Calendly account, and you'll take one step closer to the goal. And so it's like Anna said, like the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So we're going to just kind of let that clock tick a little bit. And get everybody kind of doing the one thing that they said they were going to do. So Amanda said done. So I think that means she at least created her account with Calendly. And I know she wanted to do boards as well. So boards is one of those things that, again, you've got to implement it, you've got to use it, and you've got to really put the information into those systems. But it makes your life so much easier when you do it. Tina needs to do agent landing pages.
Yes, those are great. Tina, if you guys have not built a website just for agents, I got this from Kenny. So like this is not Anna, like Anna's brain. It was one of the few sessions I picked up in Vegas last year. We have, if you want to look at it, Tina, apreagents.com. We built it on Durable. Every single agent is featured on there. It has their toolbox, so it has easy links to all of the tech that they have, but it's a great recruiting tool too, because it's a very quick capture of who we are. And so being able to build a landing page there that they can use was a really big deal. And it encourages them, I think, to go get their branding out, because they've got a nice differentiator, I think, from a lot of agents in the marketplace. So yeah, you definitely need that. Yeah, I use Cognito Form, Tina, and even though we had most of their headshots really handy and I had a lot of their information, we built a Cognito form, sent it out to everyone on the team, said fill it out, and so that way it was very easy for me to pass to Haley to help me with, and so we were able to do it pretty quickly. And that was that was still with like 20 some agents at the time. So just build a Cognito form, capture their information, so you're not having to like go after each person. And then the reality was those that didn't get their Cognito form done, they didn't have a landing page. And then when we showed off the landing pages, they're like, well, where is mine? And I was like, well, fill out this Cognito form and you can have one.
So I got to tell you real quick. Sorry, my voice is awful. I sound like I'm dying, but the CEO of Boards reached out because their main user is network marketers. So salespeople at other companies that do network marketing, and they want to bust into the real estate side. And he said, I've noticed that you use this really, really well, but not to its full capacity. Can we like help you use it better and also show you how, blah, blah, blah. And then do Boards affiliate agreements. So I told them about you and Allison, who showed me, well, Allison, I think, showed us. And so we need to get on a call with him because he wants to get it launched into the real estate side, because most real estate agents are not using it. So
yeah, you can actually build a website in Boards. And so we used to use Flowdesk for a lot of this, honestly. And
yeah.
slowly but surely, like Boards is just the one-stop shop, because now instead of building it in Flowdesk and then putting the link into Boards, we can actually just build a website in Boards for our properties. So
It's
for office
awesome.
exclusives, I mean, that's huge to be able to send to our fellow EXP agents and say, hey, here's a listing I have. Here's literally everything, because a lot of our agents are still not on Zenlist, and I could have a whole, a whole call on that. But it really is putting a lot of things in people's fingertips, and that's what I've found is, and I think it's because I'm always cognizant of the lack of G sometimes in organizations, because ours has a lot of frustration with G. Is like we can build a lot of stuff, but then getting it implemented is the hard part. It's why we're sitting here for 5 minutes letting you guys do this stuff. Boards is one of the things that takes some of that implementation and just cuts it in half, because it's right there where you're already texting someone. So you're more likely to use the system when it's easy and accessible. So I think that's a really a big, thing about Boards is it's not that it's, oh my gosh, it changed my life because it's so revolutionary. It's just, you did the work somewhere else. It's just putting it where you'll use it, right? It's just putting it where you'll use it every day, which is right there in that keyboard where you're already typing on your little, jail device. But yeah, I'd love to hop on a call with him, because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, full disclosure, Tina, he emailed me and I thought it was like spam. So there's that. It's like, take me off your list.
Yeah.
He was calling you because you're a trendsetter.
And I'm like, no. I don't want to speak to a human being.
I'll add you both to the calendar invite he just sent, because I told him I would introduce you guys to him.
Yeah. I'm going to tell him what a smart man he is.
Yeah. Okay, guys, this was wonderful. Accountability, I think, is the one thing we need, which is why we did the 5 minutes to say, hey, take a little bit of time and get it done. We've got so many people saying done, check. And I'm so proud of you guys. And so just know that we are here to lean in. And my ask at the end of this is that we are really trying to grow an organization and a following here. And each week we see new faces. And so if you felt like this was helpful, our goal is that you reach out and you text your fellow agents, EXP or not, and ask them to please come to Empower. Next week, we have got Michelle Vega.
Yep.
And she has got over 50,000 followers on Instagram, and she has really created a following within her personal brand. And she is going to be speaking to us next week about her business and how she thrives in her market. And so we really hope that you guys just share this information, forward our emails to people that you know that might benefit from our group and from our organization. And we just wanted to say thank you and make it a great day.
Bye, everyone.